Hello, it's Lauren Southern here with Rebel, and I just got in a huge confrontation with the slut walk, which we are following right now. Essentially, I held a sign that said, "We are not living in a rape culture in the West," which we are not. It is intellectually dishonest to think that we are living in a rape culture. Rapes do happen, but the vast minority of men and women are rapists. And when we do find out they're rapists, they go to prison, they are punished. Whereas in third world countries and other places, men can get away with rape there. And it's insane to focus on this one issue and say that we are living in a rape culture. Rapists don't get high fives. We don't have the government funding rapists. Even men get fired from their jobs just for making rape jokes, not even raping. So to say we live in a rape culture is, quite frankly, ridiculous. All right, let's go follow the walk.
No means no! No means no! No means no!
You are attacking our cameraman. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one who touched me first.
Excuse me.
Oh, come on. So how do you believe your outfit is going to stop perpetuating rape culture?
It's my body, it's my choice. I can wear what I want. And it shouldn't. This is exemplifying how it's a crime scene. Like wearing the caution tape that they would normally put around a physical crime scene when it's not regarding a person, but regarding me, it's regarding people. It's not considered a crime scene. That's up. It should be. It's a violation of a person's rights.
So is this stopping rapes?
Do you have any stats to back up anything that you've said this afternoon?
Absolutely.
You said that rapists go to jail. Can you give me a stat to back that up based on the number of rapes that are reported, the number of rapes that get taken to the cops, the number of rapes that get prosecuted? Could you give me some stats to back up your pseudo-reporting here?
Well, first of all, out of the amount of rapes that happen, out of 100,000 people, 1.7 of Canadians actually, that's just reporting rapes. So
yeah, you know that less than 10% of rapes are actually reported.
Okay, where's that?
To the cops.
Where's that?
It's from all of the women's organizations. You can look it up online. You can find it through the socialized organizations that study rape. I participate with an organization that works as a rape crisis center. We base that on the number of calls. The police know, based on the unofficial reports, the third-party reporting, and the direct reports. This is not a secret that about 10% of rapes are reported.
So how do you know 10% of rapes are reported if the others aren't?
Because those people call the women's centers, they ask for help, they seek medical attention.
So they are reported. Do you actually think we live in a rape culture?
Unfortunately, I think so. I was actually just chatting with my friend about even, the viral craze going on where people come up to reporters such as yourself and are saying that awful phrase into the live cameras, that's F her right in the P, and that kind of language that is considered funny is something that, it might seem like an innocent thing at the time, but it's just an example of how the language we use is absolutely involved with rape culture. Or if somebody does poorly on a test, they're like, oh, I got raped by that test, and it's like, why are you talking that way?
Do you actually think we live in a rape culture, though? Because I'd say, for the most part, we demonize rapists. We send them to prison. Guys who make rape jokes lose their job.
I think we're making great strides in doing that, but at the same time, there are girls and guys who believe that it's just kind of like you kind of force each other on, or like if it's okay for someone to take advantage of you or just assume that they can just come against you because you're so used to that way of life.
Get used to it. My short skirt is happiness.
I was just curious as to what her sign meant. That's all.
If you want to know what my sign means that this is not a rape culture, because rapists go to prison here. Rapists are actually hated here. Rapists are fired from their jobs. Men who make rape jokes are fired from their jobs. Go to Africa and you will see a real rape culture.
Who's talking about it?
The whole point of the walk is to protest rape culture.
There's a group of women that were here and they're wishing to withdraw consent to use the footage that you had, I guess, gotten. So can you please make sure that is done and make sure that any of the stuff that they have...
We may or we may not use the footage. It is a public area, so we do have legal rights to use the footage.
But you interviewed them specifically, right? So
yes, and they gave us consent to interview them.
Well, now they're withdrawing it, so...
That's not how it works, but...
Which is interesting given the event that you're at, right? That's a little bit contradictory.
I mean, it's a little bit contradictory.
Well, if you're
I totally say it, that's not how it works.
Well,
You can't just withdraw consent the next, like,
well, that's interesting.
why is that interesting?
I don't know.
No, tell me what.
Like a rally for like rapists, like, you know, consent and like withdrawing consent, saying like no means no. They're saying no, and you're saying that like.
Okay, so if someone gives consent the night before, and then they have listen, if they have sex with a man and they give consent to him, then the next day decide, oh, I regret it, I'm going to report him for being a rapist, even though I gave him consent. You're saying that's okay?
So you're sounding a little bit like a 12-year-old because this is irrelevant.
All right, we finally made it back here to the Vancouver Art Gallery after following around the slut walk. Our cameraman got shoved and pushed, my sign was ripped up, and I got a few middle fingers and got called a bitch. And overall, it was an interesting experience. We definitely support the cause of ending rape here in Canada. However, I believe this has been fear-mongering to say we live in a rape culture, seeing as the majority of people hate rape and rapists do go to prison here in Canada. Thank God. Anyways, this has been Lauren Southern with the Rebel Media.